Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I had a video all set to go this morning. I'm still going to download it. You're going to get two videos from me this morning, guaranteed. The video that I have ready to go, it's about this woman, this off the wall woman going off at McDonald's, and she's antagonizing a black gentleman in a car. And there's a reason I specify a black gentleman. Yeah, I'm still going to download that video. I came across a story about Jelly Roll. Let me say this: I've never heard one of Jelly Roll's songs. I'm not a country music fan. Here in Connecticut, we have one country music station. Seriously, out of, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 radio stations. It's mostly what they call new rock, alternative rock, classic rock, rock this, rock that, top 40, hip hop, all that stuff. And there's not a whole lot of country up here, so I've never heard of any Jelly Roll songs. And I came across this. The link will be down below. They'll put the video right on top so you can watch it. It's a short video. It's a TMZ story and TMZ video, and I'll put them right down below in the description. And I watched this video. It's a short interview with Jelly Roll after he ran a 5K. 5K is like 3.5 miles. Yeah. Well, he didn't quite run. He finished a 5K, let's just say that. He didn't specify that he ran it, but that's still fantastic because this guy's got to weigh well over 300 pounds. And I have so much in common with him. And as I watched this video, at the end, he said something that I just have to talk about. He said he kids around. He said he would have been doing 5Ks long before this because I guess they tailgated at this particular 5K was held by two comedians, Two Bears, One Cave podcast. And so I believe it was a little different, a little more relaxed, let's just say, than most 5Ks, 10Ks, 20Ks, whatever. And there was tailgating in the parking lot. So not that he tailgated, and he said there was like massages and rub downs and saunas and vodka after the 5K. Like I said, it's not an average 5K. He doesn't say you indulge because Jelly Roll is a recovering addict, just like myself, a recovering drinker and addict, just like myself. This is why I love doing. I had never been a fan of Bam Margera's until the struggle with recovery from addiction, and same thing with Jelly Roll. Okay, so Jelly Roll's talking in this video, and he says something. He says that he's working on himself. He talks about how he lost 70 pounds already, and he's working on himself. He said he was such a bad human being. He was bad in every respect, and I'm going to talk about that, and how he's fixing one thing at a time. He says that he thought everything could be fixed with money, and once he was blessed with a little bit of money, he realized that it doesn't fix everything. And now he's kind of fixing his life one thing at a time. And now he's working on his weight. And this it rang so familiar to me. This is one of the things I discovered in recovery. I share so much in common. I felt so alone when I was in addiction. Let me show you my painting here. Out of the darkness of addiction into the light. Let's see the guy here. He's crawling. And, okay, so let me tell you about, like I said, this sounds so familiar with when I was using. Let me tell you, I did not look like I look now. All right, I weighed almost 300 pounds. Right now, this morning, I weighed 198. I'm 6'3". And I had man boobs. I had big love handles. I was a mess. Not only that, my family wouldn't talk to me anymore. I was a kleptomaniac. I felt like all the people I hung out with were what you would call bad people. My life was just so bad at that point. I was getting chased. I owed money. My credit was terrible. This was from the time I was 20 till I was 40 years old. And it just seemed so overwhelming at that point. One of the worst things that kept me using, especially kept me using heroin, was my teeth. My teeth, I'm not kidding about this. Like I said, I was almost, picture this. I'll try to find a picture of this. Every single one of my teeth, we have 32 teeth, I think it is, or 28, 32, 28. Anyway, every single one was rotted, black, brown, and broken off at the gum line. Every single tooth due to smoking crack, heroin, cocaine, drinking, bad. I wouldn't eat for like 3 or 4 days, and then I would go into withdrawals. I would go find the cheapest food like Cheetos and Twizzlers or whatever I could find, and I'd gorge myself on that. So I wouldn't eat for 3 days. Then I would consume like 10,000 bad empty calories in like 2 hours, and then I wouldn't eat. That kind of. Not to mention my my cholesterol was through the roof. It was 350. I think there's 3 different ones. There's this CHL or whatever. The combined one was over 300, 350 when I first started going to the methadone clinic. The methadone clinic, it was my last. I really didn't want to try it because I heard bad things about it. And it's the one thing. It was just a last ditch effort, and it was the thing that saved my life. Okay, so like I said, all my teeth were broken off. So once I got into the methadone clinic and I realized I had this moment of clarity, seriously, where all of a sudden one day I realized I could do this. I've said this before, like I started going there for 2 weeks and it blocks the heroin. So it doesn't, you could use heroin and it doesn't work because the methadone blocks it. And for a good month when I was going there, I would go I would go get the methadone, but then I would go buy heroin after that, a half bundle after that. And I would do that every day, even though I knew that it was blocked and it wasn't going to work. I still kept doing it, like just pointless. And like I said, until I had this like moment of clarity where all of a sudden I felt good one day and I realized like I could do this. And it took me another couple months to stop using cocaine, to stop drinking and everything else. And it took me a while, but I've been clean and sober now for 17 and a half years. Then I started, like Jelly Roll says, I had to start working on other things. And it's taken me all this time. I'm still working on getting my credit better. I'm still working on finances. I realized that I was emotionally stunted. Like I didn't know how to fill out a credit card at a restaurant. I had never used a credit card at a restaurant. I'm almost 58 years old, and I started dating about 8 years ago, and I was embarrassed. It was so embarrassing because I didn't know how to use my credit card at a restaurant. One of the hardest things, after about 5 years, 4 or 5 years clean and sober, I was still going to the methadone clinic, and they had a dental program, and I got all my teeth pulled and fixed, and these are actually dentures. And the methadone clinic worked with me to do this. And the toughest part was, though, that I couldn't have any painkillers. So I sat in a chair for two different trips to the dentist. And they had to dig them out of my gums and pull every single tooth out. It was just the most ridiculous. When I'm facing a tough task, something tough nowadays, I just think back to that. And I tell myself, if I could do that, I could do anything. It was 2 dental students working for 4 or 5 hours one day and another 4 or 5 hours the next day, pulling every teeth. And then after that, they had to cut the gums open, and they used a file. My head was going back and forth like this, a file to file down the jawbone. It was horrific, and they gave me Novocaine. That was it. And I used because I knew I looked terrible. Like I didn't want to smile. I was overweight. I cut my own hair for 2 decades. Cut my own hair. I'll find a picture. I'll put it on the thumbnail. I don't think you can see my teeth, and like Jelly Roll says, it took a long time. It was like climbing a mountain almost. And once you start making progress, you want more. And I see that with Jelly Roll. He says he lost 70 pounds. And he's really excited in this video about doing a 5K. When I first started exercising, the very first day, I was going to the methadone clinic. And I was feeling good that day, which was unusual. I got my methadone for the day, and I didn't need any drugs that day at all. So I decided to go for a walk, a 15-minute walk at a dam near here. And the next day I went for another 15-minute walk, then a 20-minute walk, then a half-hour walk, and I started losing weight. and I started getting fit. I got a doctor. I started taking Lipitor for my cholesterol. And it was just like he said, it was fixing one thing at a time, one after the next. I rebuilt the connections with my family, and today my life is better than I could have ever imagined. I go out with my mom once a week. I have money in the bank. It's the best life I could imagine. And now I'm addicted to exercise. This is how much I exercise every day. I get up, I do this video at 3 a.m. At 4 a.m., I start my workout, and I do an hour and 15 minutes of weightlifting, or pull-ups, or push-ups, sit-ups. Then I go for a 3.5 mile walk around town. This is every day of the year. Rain, snow, whatever, Christmas, doesn't matter. Then I come back and I get on a treadmill and do another 4.25 miles while I'm lifting weights on the treadmill, while I'm curling. I'm on the treadmill for 70 minutes. I do so I walk a total of 7.25 miles, 7.5 miles every single day after I lift weights for an hour and 15 minutes. And then seriously, I go for a 10-mile bike ride after that, usually when there's no snow on the ground. So I'm working out for 4 hours every single day. Like I said, I weigh about 198. I lost about 95 pounds, and I've kept it off. I did a video last fall where I went up to 214 pounds because I started eating junk food again, and I've lost that weight. I've been meaning to do a video. I'll do a video coming up about that. But anyway, like I said, in this clip down below, Jelly Roll talks about, he's fixing one thing at a time, and right now he's working on his weight, and that just rang a bell for me. That just, I know exactly what he's talking about, because it seems overwhelming. Once you get so far, once you get so deep into addiction, you tell yourself you're not going to use tomorrow. I can't do this again tomorrow. I can't get up. I can't lie, cheat, and steal. As soon as you wake up, the moment your eyes open, you start thinking, how am I going to get my fix? How am I going to get money this morning? And that's the last thing you think about. You're going to be sick as soon as you wake up the next morning. It is a nightmare existence. And it gets to the point where you don't think you're ever going to be able to fix it. You get so deep into that hole. And once I started fixing things, I got hope back again. I got the hope back again. And I could see that in Jelly Roll's eyes, the way he says he's fixing, in his voice, what he's saying, that he's fixing one thing at a time. And you could hear the excitement in his voice. Listen to the video down below. Recovery is possible. It is the best life I have ever had. Out of all my 58 years on this earth, the last 17 and a half years have been the best. Methadone does work too. For me, it works great. Recovery is possible. Have a good Thursday.